Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey, and today we're doing Just Springbank, specifically Springbank 12, the newest Springbank 12 cask strength, coming in at 55.9% ABV, not to be confused with the 2021 release of this at the same ABV, which was 55.9 as well, but the 2021 release was 100% Exbourbon, which is still probably my favorite Springbank 12 of all time because I'm a purist. You're getting the real Springbank DNA. So this is the newer 55.9 2025, and the cask makeup of this is 60% bourbon, 35% sherry, and 5% rum, which coincidentally is the same cask makeup as the 2024 right here release of 50, whoop, kind of mixed up here, 56.2, okay? And last year was the first time that I am aware of that Springbank released two releases of the Springbank 12 cask strength. So one is this one right here, the 56.2, and the other one was 57.2. Which was more of the traditional, I believe, don't quote me, 60-40, 60 bourbon, 40 sherry, I believe. But anyway, these two, the newest one that I'm reviewing and this one from last year, the 56.2, had the same cask makeup. Again, 60% bourbon, 35% sherry, and 5% rum. And also, before I forget, I'd like to thank newest Patreon. His name is Srini. 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 I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but thank you so much for your generous support. As the few Patreons that I have, thank you so much for your support. Much appreciated. And also to check out my newer channel called Just Music, and there'll be a link for that in the description below, as well as Patreon and PayPal and all that fun stuff. All right. Yeah, I think that covers it. And you know what? I don't really focus on the batch numbers because I think it's getting a little convoluted, especially with last year. There was two releases, and I'm not so sure even Whiskey Base has caught up with it because nowhere on these bottles does it say which batch it is. So all you need to know is so far as I know, this is the only release of 2025 at the 55.9. So, but there's still time before the end of the year. They could surprise us. But batch numbers, I don't really focus on that. All right, so you're here for the review, and I'm wearing my Halloween Pride, the Ghoul. He was an old, when I was a kid, he was on the VHF channels, like channel 56 or channel 38. They come on at Friday night and do the creature features. I love that. He was my favorite horror host. Svengoolie is my new favorite horror host, but the Ghoul back in the day, man, oh my God. Total whack job, but funny as hell. All right. So, I did a little comparison, and last year's 56.2, as you can see, has been sitting around for a while, aerating and all that kind of good stuff, whereas this one here is fairly new. So, take that as a caveat. But They are similar, but there is some differences. And I do prefer this year's um, over specifically this one from last year. Although last year, the 57.2, I liked better than this. If you look at, I've reviewed every year, I reviewed all these Springbank 12. So check my reviews and then look at all the comments because I rate and score in which order are my favorites. So check out my archives, check out the comments. All the information is there. But for me to rattle off all my favorites, it'll get too convoluted. But so I can tell you that I do like this one over this one. And I reviewed this 54.1, which was from 2023. And that's the only one from 2023 that I really have not connected with. All of the other Springbank 12s I have connected with, but this one I keep trying, but it's just not, I'm just not connecting with it. But all right, on the review for the new 2025, finally, right? So the nose reminds me of Klein Leash quite a bit. If you gave me this in a blind, I might say, hey, is this a compass box with a lot of Klein Leash in it? It's got Klein Leash. It's got that waxy fruity notes in there, waxy candle fruity notes. I'm getting melted butter. There's a little grassy note, a little herbaceous note, a little vegetal note, maybe a little candy cigarette. Getting some butterscotch, some cotton candy. Very nice. So it's got some sweet fruity candiness to it. All right, on the palate. Right away, on the palate, it reminds me of Klein Leash. That creaminess, that candle fruity waxiness is there in spades. It's sweet, but it's also astringent. One more time in the palate. Yeah. Awesome palate. I'm getting the fruity hard candies. Again, the sweet, the astringency. Then the cinnamon red hot spiciness comes out at the end. Long finish, sweet, dry, peppery, cinnamony spice, dry. And the dryness, it's like a dry rum finish. So there is 5% rum in here. And I think that has something to do with that it's got that rummy, dry sharpness to it. That bite, that rummy bite to it, more so than last year's with the same cask makeup, the 56.2. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, you are getting that. So on the nose, you are getting that little bit of vegetal note that people call the Springbank funk, I guess, right? But I'm not getting the barnyard on it at all. So the vegetal, it's very slightly peated. Um, mm, wow. So score-wise, it's a solid 8 out of 10 all day long, approaching a 9 out of 10. Um, I'm hesitant to put it on the Ralphie scale because I get so many comments. But this is like a 90 all day long. So it should be a 9 out of 10, right? But the problem, the challenge with the Ralphie scale, which is the the wine enthusiast scale of 1 to 100, most most reviewers only use between 80 and 90 usually, and usually it's between 83 and 84 to 88 and 89. It's a very narrow range in there. So a solid, like on the dram face, a solid 8 out of 10 is excellent, something special, and a 9 out of 10 is exceptional, remarkable. So it's bordering on that. So I'm going to give this a an 8 plus 9 out of 10, 8.5 to 9 out of 10, probably close to a 9. I really like this. I like last year's compared to this. This is still kind of early in the bottle over here, but last year's 57.2, I liked better than the 56.2. So those two are right up there together, the 57.2 and this one here. Nice job, Springbank. Price-wise, availability, good luck. Good luck. Wow. Yeah, now I'm just getting a little bit of fermented honey, maple, a little maple syrup in there as well. Yeah. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. Hats off to you all, and take care, folks. Happy Halloween.